Hello students, welcome to FS Cloud. My name is Shashmita. We have an app by the name Careers Cloud which you can go and download through the Play Store. Once you have downloaded the application, you will easily be able to log in using your Gmail ID. And once you have logged in, you will be redirected to this page where you will be getting this URL. And there will be option for home, all courses, my courses and down section in this application. You will be getting multiple PDFs, multiple content on daily basis that will be enhancing your learning. Under Crack Current Affairs, you will be able to see multiple options. First one is Current Affairs English. We upload the day-to-day basis news in the English format. And apart from English PDF, we also provide them in Hindi format. And this Banking Awareness, we upload a PDF every month. So this PDF will contain the banking news, banking and the finance news of. So this PDF will contain the banking news, banking and the finance news of that respective month. And current affairs exam PDF will have two categories. One is that most important news of that particular month will be uploaded in this current affairs exam PDF, and also exam perspective PDF will also be uploaded. If you see for SBI PO, RRB or RBI, all these, next is special CA. This will contain union budget, economic survey, and also the most important events that had taken place globally as well as nationally. Like for example, G20 events, Olympics. And next most important is topic wise. So the entire news of that particular month will be segregated into different topics like obituary. Next, and in order to recollect whatever you've read, we also provide you with topic wise quizzes. Apart from that, we also provide state current affairs. Now, here if you see, we provide you with the day-to-day PDF, and this we provide you with the weekly PDF. So that particular week news will be compiled into a PDF and in question and answer format in English, and will be uploaded here. And to enhance your learning, you can also, to enhance and strengthen your learning, you can also attend the quiz. Here we provide you with the entire news of that particular week. But here we provide you with the entire news of that particular week. But here we take the top 60 most important news and we upload it in this PDF in question and answer format. Apart from weekly, we also provide you the monthly ones. This PDF will contain detailed view of that particular month news, and this will have a brief format of the same news. This will be in the form of a question and answer format, and this will have the top 100 question and answer of that particular month. We also provide you with the PIB news on a day-to-day basis, which you can go and read in these particular tabs. Apart from that, we also provide the union budget and economic survey. You can also after reading the PDF, you can also go and attend the quiz. This is available in the special CA category. We also provide state level current affairs. So this will be very helpful for students who are preparing for state level exams. For example, if you are preparing for Tamil Nadu state level exams, then you can click this tab and you will be able to see all the current affairs or news related to Tamil Nadu. Apart from that, we also provide PDF from the exam perspective. Suppose you are preparing for RBI Assistant Mains, then this tab will contain 5 to 6 months of current affairs, which has high probability of being asked in RBI Assistant Mains. Similarly, for SBI PO, RRB PO, Clerk Mains, all these are being given under this section. And also, we provide separate content-wise, topic-wise current affairs like national affairs, government schemes, international affairs, banking and finance, economy and businesses, MOUs, and committees and meetings. All these different types of news are segregated in these particular categories. Hello students, welcome to our new initiative. In this initiative, we will be uploading the weekly current affairs on banking and finance section. So this will be uploaded on every Monday. And so on the whole, per month, you will have totally 4 videos related to this topic. And apart from just providing you with the banking and finance news, we also provide you the conceptual explanation so that this will enhance and also strengthen your knowledge about these topics. Today, we will be covering September 3rd week banking and finance awareness news. Moving to the first news. The first news about the small savings scheme that has grown by 13.8%, led by the Sukanya Samriddhi and the senior citizen scheme. So according to the Reserve Bank of India, small savings schemes grew by 13.8% up to February 2024, reaching 18.1 lakh crore. So these schemes, what is the purpose of these schemes? They are designed to finance the government expenditure and also simultaneously promote the savings habit. So these savings schemes are particularly driven by Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana and the Senior Citizen Savings Scheme. So the 7 small savings schemes are there, including Post Office Savings Scheme and Post Office Recurring Deposits, which has recorded growth between 9% and 11%, with interest rate ranging from 4% to 9%. So remember, the small savings, they have grown by 13.8%. Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana alone saw a growth of 41% from 77,000 crore to 1 lakh crore from February 2023 to February 2024. And Senior Citizen Savings Scheme recorded a growth of 28% from 1.3 lakh crore to 1.7 lakh crore. So the outstanding balance of the small savings scheme, it increased from 6.2 lakh crore in 2015 to 18.1 lakh crore in February 2024, which is almost 3 times. So small savings schemes are savings instrument managed by the government to encourage citizens to save regularly. The small savings schemes, they are in 3 categories: savings deposits, social security schemes, and monthly income plan. The interest rates for small savings scheme, they are notified on a quarterly basis by the government, and the interest rate is decided by a formula through which the interest rate is arrived for the small savings scheme, and it is given by the Shyamala Gopinath committee. So remember the committee name. The formula to derive the interest rate is given by the Shyamala Gopinath committee. Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana, it was launched by the Prime Minister on January 2015 as part of this Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao campaign to promote girl child education. So what is Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana? You can deposit under the girl's name and you can earn a very good interest rate under the deposit. So the Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana account can be opened at any post office or branch of any authorized commercial bank. The girl child has to be below at the age of 10. So only for girl children below the age of 10, they can open this Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana, and a family can open maximum up to 2 Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana. So if they have 2 children, 2 girl child, then they can open 2 separate accounts for this 2 girl child. So the interest rate here is 8.2% per annum for July to September 2024 quarter. And the tenure is 21 years from the date of opening or until the girl child marries after the age of 18. So remember, it is 21 years from the date of opening or until the girl child marries after the age of 18. Whichever is earlier, that will be the tenure. The minimum value is 250 and the maximum value is 1.5 lakh per annum. Next is Senior Citizen Savings Schemes. It was launched in 2004 to provide retirement stability and steady income to the senior citizens. So eligibility, as the name goes by, it is senior citizen. So the eligibility is individual should be over the age of 60 years. Interest rate is 8.2% per annum for the quarter July to September. The tenure is 5 years and the investment is minimum deposit ₹1,000 and the maximum deposit is 30 lakhs. So next news is RBI increases the frequency of reporting of credit information by the lenders to the credit information companies. So until now, if you see, the lenders, they have to provide the credit information to the credit information companies monthly. So now it has been reduced to fortnightly. So RBI mandated the frequency of credit information reporting to fortnightly basis with effect from January 1st, 2025 to boost transparency. Now what is this credit information that the lenders provide? See, lenders, they give loans to the customers, right? So if they do not pay the loans on time, then these data will have to be provided to the credit information company so that is updated in the CIBIL of the customers. So this will help in analyzing the discipline of the customer, and this will also help in help the lenders in analyzing whether they have to provide the loan to the customers or not. Another change is credit information companies must process the credit information from the credit institution within 5 calendar days, a reduction from the previous 7-day window. So the lenders will provide the credit data to the CIC company and they have to update the data within the CIBIL of the customer within 5 calendar days. Previously they were given 7-day window. Now this has been reduced to 5 calendar days. CICs are required to submit a list of lenders not complying with the fortnightly reporting to the RBI's Department of Supervision every 6 months. So if any lender is not following this, if they're not giving the data within 15 days, then they have to report this data to the Department of Supervision of RBI every 6 months. Next is borrowers will benefit from quicker updates of their repayment status. Now why this is being updated? It is because, see, when you update the data of the customer every 15 days instead of every 30 days, this will help in immediately reflecting their repayment status on their CIBIL data. So after 30 days, suppose you have closed a loan today. If that is going to be reflected in your CIBIL only after 30 days, then you can get another loan only after 30 days, right? Because that loan will still be shown as an outstanding in your CIBIL. But if it is closed, if it has been updated within 15 days, then you can go and ask for a bank a loan after 15 days itself. So you will save a 15 days in this. So that is one of the main reasons for updating this. And also for lenders also this will be useful, because if a customer borrows one loan from a bank and immediately if he goes and borrows another loan in another bank, then it will be like this bank will not be knowing the loan status of the previous bank, because it would have taken 30 days to update the status. Now this will reduce to 15 days. So there might be a possibility that this bank will already know the status of the previous bank loan that the borrower has borrowed. So if you see, the borrowers will benefit from quicker updates of the repayment status, while the lender can make more informed risk assessment and help prevent borrower from over leveraging. So it is a win-win situation both for the borrower as well as for the lender. So Credit Information Company, it is an independent institution that collects financial data regarding loans, credit cards and more about individuals and share it with its members. The CIC are licensed by the Reserve Bank of India and governed by the Credit Information Company Regulation Act 2005. So there are 4 CIC in India currently. They are Credit Information Bureau, Equifax Credit Information Services Private Limited, Experian Credit Information Company of the India Private Limited, and the last one is CRIF Highmark Credit Information Services Private Limited. So these are the 4 CIC in India currently. The next news is about capital expenditure. Ministry of Finance relaxed norms for expenditure exceeding rupees 500 crore to give boost to the capex. So we know that this year's the capex expenditure estimated was 11.11 lakh crore. So this is the capex expenditure that was estimated during the budget. So which is compared to previous year, it is way more, because last year it was 10 lakh crore and this year it is 11.11 lakh crore, and we are in short in utilizing this capital expenditure. Main reason is that in the first quarter general election was taking place. So due to that, the first quarter expenditure was very less compared to the first quarter of financial year 2023, and also though the second quarter of the financial year 24 has improved, but still it is very less as compared to the target of 11.11 lakh crore. The Union Ministry of Finance has relaxed norms for expenditure exceeding rupees 500 crore in order to accelerate the capex that is estimated at 11.11 lakh crore for the financial year 2025. This will give boost to the government spending, which suffered a slowdown in the early months of financial year 25 due to the general elections. In July 2024, Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in the budget proposed to raise the capex target by 11.1% to record rupees 11.11 lakh crore for the current fiscal year. So to provide requisite operational flexibility in the execution of the budget, it has been decided to relax rules for big release above rupees 500 crore. So there is a relaxation for release above rupees 500 crore, so that there will be an acceleration in the capex spending. So for big release above rupees 500 crore for all items of expenditure in the current financial year, and office memorandum dated September 2, 2024 was released. So earlier, if you see, the release of amounts ranging between 500 crore and 2000 crore had to be prepared to enable tracking of expenditure and cash flow. So well before you have to plan this 500 crore, a release between 500 crore and 2000 crore. That is mainly because the amount of such expenditure may be released between 21st and 25th of a month to take advantage of the GST inflows. So you will have GST inflows during these dates of a month. So using that inflow, this expenditure was provided. That is why the release was between 21st and 25th of the month in order to take advantage of the GST inflows. Next is bulk expenditures items having value of more than 2000 crores were to be timed during the second fortnight in the last month of the quarter in order to take advantage of the direct tax receipt flow. So previously, if you see, so in this case, if you see, it was released between 21st to 25th in order to take advantage of the GST inflows, and in this case, it was timed during the second fortnight of the last month of the quarter to take advantage of the direct tax receipt inflows. So now if you see, these conditions have been waived off in order to increase the capex expenditure. So Union Finance Minister is Nirmala Sitharaman, Rajya Sabha is Karnataka, the Union Minister of State is Pankaj Chaudhary, constituency is Maharajganj, Uttar Pradesh. We have launched a new course called Static Banking Awareness Course. Now this course will be helpful for students who are preparing for the banking exams and for the regulatory body exams. And also, recently, you would have seen Paytm Bank in news frequently. So when an aspirant reads this news,
he would have ample number of questions like what is a payment bank, what are the norms for it, and which is the committee that has launched it. So this static banking awareness course lays a foundation to the current banking and finance news. Now, you have to download our Careers Cloud to access this course. Once you have logged into our app, you can go and click this all courses icon, and then you'll be redirected to this page. In this, you have to go and click the static banking awareness course, and under the details tab, you will be able to see a brief about this course. And under the part tab, it will contain all the contents, all the topics of the contents that are currently available in this course. We are working on this continuously, and this will be completed within 2 months. Under the free tab, you can go and access one content, that is the origin and development content, for free. You can go and read this content and have an idea about this course. After reading this content, do attend the quiz that is also available under the same tab. Now, our team has allocated ample amount of time and resources to curate this content. We have created this content from various books and from various verified websites. Our content is better than any book that is available in the market. This is because we update this content on a dynamic basis. For example, there are currently 39 DRTs that are available in the country now. In future, if one more DRT is created or added, then it would become 40. So we would update this content on a dynamic basis. But in case of books, you have to wait for the next publication for this updated content. Nowadays, a lot of practical questions have been asked in the banking exams. For example, how many public sector banks are available on the stock exchange? Which is the payment bank that is being listed on the stock exchange? So, we try to cover as many practical questions as possible in this course. Apart from this, we also provide you a question bank that will contain around 3000 questions and the previous year questions along with it. We also have a dedicated tab that will release the important RBI notification and the frequent news released by the RBI. You can use this code B15 to avail 15% discount. This is one of the highest discounts that we have offered until now. So do avail this code B15 while you purchase the course. The next news is about the penalty imposed by RBI on Axis Bank and HDFC Bank. So together RBI has imposed a penalty of amount 2.91 crores. So Axis Bank alone was fined around 1.91 crores and HDFC Bank was fined around 1 crore. Next is that MoneyView becomes India's 6th unicorn startup. So MoneyView, a Bengaluru-based fintech sector, a lending platform operated by the WISDM Innovations Private Limited, has turned unicorn after securing an amount of 38.6 crore in equity funding from ACIL India and Nexus Venture Partners. So remember the name, it is MoneyView and it is a fintech lending platform. So MoneyView, it becomes the 6th Indian startup to achieve the unicorn status in 2024 after Qtrim, Perfios, Porter, Rapido and Aether. So these are the five startups and this is the 6th startup that has achieved the unicorn status. A unicorn startup is a privately owned startup company that has a valuation of over $1 billion and is not listed on the stock market. So this is the definition of a unicorn. Remember, the valuation should be over $1 billion and should not be listed on the stock market. The next news is about expanding the electric buses in India. So, Gurugram-based JBM Eco Life Mobility Private Limited, a subsidiary of JBM Auto Limited, has secured a loan amount of 7.2 billion funding from the Asian Development Bank and the Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank to enhance the electric bus services in India. So, this funding will support the procurement of 650 electric buses. So, remember the loan amount, it is 7.2 billion in funding from the ADB and the AIIB. So ADB will lead the arrangement of 7.2 billion debt package with AIIB contributing 3.6 billion. So remember, AIIB will contribute around 3.6 billion for this purpose. The funding is in alignment with recently announced Prime Minister's E-Drive scheme, which aims to subsidize 14,000 electric buses as part of this 10,900 crore green energy initiative. The next news is about Bank of Baroda. So Bank of Baroda has launched 3 generative artificial intelligence powered solution. So those 3 names are, one is Aditi, second one is Gyan Sahai.ai, the last one is ADI. So Aditi, it is a virtual relationship manager. It will be available 24/7 and it is accessible via the web portal and supports audio, video and also chat based assistance is provided 24/7. Next is GyanSahai.ai. This is mainly for the employees. So knowledge management platform for its employees was established through this GyanSahai.ai. The platform is trained in the bank's product policies and processes, allowing employees to handle customer queries more efficiently. The last one is a chatbot called ADI for digital customer experience. So ADI enhances the overall digital banking experience, allowing the users to get their question answered quickly through this chatbot. So the three new initiatives are Aditi, GyanSahai.ai and ADI chatbot. Next is PhonePe and Liquid Group partners to expand UPI payment system. So the Bengaluru-based PhonePe has partnered with the Singapore-based Liquid Group, a fintech leader in the digital cross-border payment solution, to enable the Indian travelers to make UPI payments at various merchants in Singapore. So we know a lot of people travel to other countries. So in this case, if Indians travel to Singapore and if they buy any product and want to make any payment to the merchants, then they can use the UPI to make the payment due to this agreement signed between the PhonePe and the Liquid Group. So this collaboration is facilitated through the Liquid Group's partnership with the NPCI International Payment Limited. The PhonePe users can also receive international remittances via UPI using the Pay Now UPI real-time remittance corridor. So the NRI in Singapore, they can also link their NRE and NRO account and make payment for various services for use cases in India. So we know that NRIs in Singapore, they can hold NRE or NRO account in India and they can link that account with UPI and make payment for various purposes. Next is SEBI reduced the bonus shares allotment time to 10+2 effective from 1st October 2024. Now what is this bonus shares? The bonus shares are issued to existing shareholders. So when generally to the shareholders what is issued, dividends are issued, right? So when the company is little hesitant to issue the dividend, that is it wants to store the cash, instead of distributing the cash, it distributes bonus shares, that is it distributes extra shares. If you are already an existing shareholder, then you have an extra share without paying any money to the company. This is what is the bonus shares. So instead of dividend, some company sometimes issues these bonus shares to the existing shareholders. For that, it will call a record date. A record date will be issued by the company. So it will tell that as on this date, if you are holding the share, then you will get this much of extra shares for each share that you hold. So this is what it will tell. So this record date will be announced, and after that, after the record date, the shares will be credited to your Demat account. So now they have reduced this allotment time. So the new framework has reduced the time taken for credit of bonus shares and their eligibility for trading for about 2 weeks to 2 days. So it is a very huge reduction from 2 weeks to 2 days from the record date, which is the cutoff date for the shareholders to be eligible for a bonus issue under the SEBI regulation 2018. On receiving the intimation of the record date and requisite documents from the issuer, the stock exchange will issue confirmation notice which includes the deemed date of the allotment and the number of shares considered in the bonus issue. After the issuance of the notification by the stock exchange for the acceptance of the record date, so the record date will be intimated to the stock exchange, and the stock exchange will release a confirmation notice. And after the issuance of the notification by the stock exchange for the acceptance of the record date, the issuers will be required to ensure submission of the documents to the depositories for credit bonus shares in the depository system by 12 p.m. of the next working day of the record date. So what in case of money, dividend is provided in the form of cash, means it will be credited to your account, right, to your bank account. But here in this case, this is shares. So instead of cash, you will be provided shares that will be deposited in your Demat account. So for that purpose, requisite documents should be supported to the depositories, and the very next working day, these bonus shares will be credited to your Demat account. The new framework has eliminated the previous condition which required bonus shares to be credited in a temporary international security identification numbering system.
So previously these were temporary, these were for time being, they were credited in the International Security Identification numbering system. But now instead of temporary international security identification numbering system, this will be credited in the permanent ISIN. Now what is this ISIN? So in ISIN in India, it is used to identify financial instruments with a 12-character alphanumeric code. So ISIN will have a 12-character alphanumeric code. The National Securities Depository Limited is responsible for assigning ISIN to the financial securities in India. And in case of government securities, the Reserve Bank of India is responsible for assigning the ISIN to the government securities. So remember, previously it was credited to the temporary ISIN. Now this will be credited to the permanent ISIN. Next is Paisabazaar partners with Yes Bank to launch a credit card. So the Paisabazaar, India's largest marketplace for consumer credit and free credit score platform, has partnered with Yes Bank Limited to launch a co-branded credit card named Yes Bank Paisabazaar Paisa Save credit card. So the card provides cashback of around 3% on online purchase across various platforms like Amazon, Myntra, Flipkart and all. So if you want, the CEO of Paisabazaar is Naveen Kukreja. Headquarters is in Gurugram and it was established in 2014. Next is EaseMyTrip has become the first online travel agency to sell and purchase travel services through the ONDC, that is Open Network Digital Platform. So it will make the onboarding process easier for travel business, allowing them to engage with the potential travelers and compete in the online marketplaces. So remember, it is EaseMyTrip that has launched ScanMyTrip.com, India's first travel service marketplace on the ONDC network. ONDC was established in 2022. Next is Jana Small Finance Bank launches Liquid Plus FD at 6.75% interest rate. So the tenure of this FD is from 7 days to 180 days. The minimum deposit is 10 lakhs for retail deposits and the maximum is up to 3 crores. In case of bulk deposits, it is rupees 3 crore minimum and maximum is up to 200 crores. So this FD is available to a wide range of customers including individuals, partnership and even to various organizations. So the MD and CEO of Jana Small Finance Bank is Ajay Kanwal. It is headquartered in Bengaluru and established in 2018. The next news is about a co-branded credit card that has been recently launched. So the RBL Bank Limited and the DMI Finance Private Limited, a NBFC company, together they have launched a co-branded credit card called RBL Bank DMI Finance Credit Card to the DMI Finance existing customers. So there are various features available in this credit card. Like if you see the RBL Bank, it offers up to 2000 reward points as a welcome benefit. And you also have buy one get one movie ticket offer. So these are the various features that are provided by this co-branded credit card. Remember the name, it is RBL Bank and DMI Finance together. The MD and CEO of RBL Bank is R. Subramania Kumar. It is headquartered in Mumbai and the tagline is Apno Ka Bank. Next is about the resident OCI card holders eligible for loans. So the Reserve Bank of India has clarified that the overseas citizens of Indian card holders, they are now eligible for education loans from the Indian banks to study abroad provided they are residing in India. So it has also clarified that the LRS, that is Liberalized Remittance Scheme, imposes no restriction on the remittance of domestically borrowed funds for present account transaction, including those for educational purposes. So if you see now, they can borrow education loans from the Indian banks and there will be no restrictions on the limit that is being imposed under the LRS. So what is the LRS limit? If you see, the LRS limit is $250,000 per financial year per person. It includes even minors. So if you see, as per existing provisions of LRS, all resident individuals including minors are permitted to freely remit maximum of amount up to $250,000 per financial year. And this limit will not be applicable in case if they borrow any funds from the domestic side. And OCI card holders, depending upon the loan amount or upon the financial institutions, they may have to provide collateral to the financial institutions. At present, if you see, some of the leading Indian banks like State Bank of India, HDFC Bank Limited, ICICI Bank Limited, among others, they are providing educational loan services to the resident of OCI. So if you see, the State Bank of India, HDFC, ICICI, They are all domestically systematically important banks in India. So they have to maintain an extra amount in the CET1. That is common equity tier 1. Under that they have to maintain extra amount because they are highly important, systematically important banks in India. Now tell me what extra percentage they have to maintain under CET1. For each and every bank it is different. So tell me what percentage of CET1 extra, what extra percentage of CET1 so each bank should maintain. If you see, what is this OCI? OCI is Overseas Citizenship of India. It is an immigration status authorizing a foreign citizen of Indian origin to live and work in India for an indefinite period. You see, India is against the dual citizenship status. So India does not provide dual citizenship. That is, if you are a citizen of another country, then you do not get the citizen of Indian. So it is against this dual citizenship concept. That is why this OCI was mainly introduced. So it is an immigration status authorizing a foreign citizen of Indian origin to live and work in India for an indefinite period. The OCI card offers utmost convenience to those foreign individuals who intend to reside in India but still maintain that citizenship in another country. Next news is US International Development Finance Corporation invests $70 million in India. So it has announced an investment of $70 million in the India's private sector to strengthen key priorities of both the governments. So it was announced by Nisha Biswal, Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the DFC, during his visit to India. So during the visit, a commitment of amount of $20 million loan was signed with Panacea Biotech Limited to expand the production of a vaccine which protects children against 6 diseases, that is diphtheria, tetanus, polio, pertussis, hepatitis B and Haemophilus influenza type B. So these are the 6 diseases. So for this, a commitment of $20 million loan has been signed with Panacea Biotech. Remember the name, Panacea Biotech Limited. And also a $50 million loan agreement was also signed with the Vastu Housing Finance Corporation Limited to expand mortgage and home lending in India. So this project is expected to provide over 2,200 affordable home loans with 95% supporting women as sole or a co-borrower and roughly around 1,000 small business loans mainly for the women-owned businesses. The previous we saw it is $20 million loan and here it is $50 million loan agreement with the Vastu House Finance Corporation Limited. Thank you for watching the session. I hope you had enjoyed it. We're also available in Telegram under the name AffairsCloud_official. We also have an Instagram handle. Apart from this, you can contact us directly on 9677333862 regarding any courses that we offer or regarding any payment issues. You can contact on directly on this number. Thank you.